Hello everybody, I hope you're having a great Sunday. I'll just wait to see if anyone jumps on, and I will be posting this later. It is a beautiful day here in Northern Nevada, but I'm going to get started for those of you who will be watching the replay. I don't want to make you sit around here and wait too long. So I was just going to hop on and remind everybody that today is the end of my program. And I just wanted to tell you guys something that happened to, kind of happened to me earlier today, which is pretty interesting. So my son recently, last week, he had all 4 of his wisdom teeth pulled out. And so he's just been absolutely miserable. So this morning we decided not to go to church, just to let him sleep and just stay home and kind of relax and not skip, just decided to stay home. And so whenever that happens, I usually just spend some time just in devotion and doing my own thing. And I have to tell you guys, it's from doing this, launching this business through Childcare Business Professionals and working with you guys. I was just this morning during my time praying and going over some things, and I was listening to one of the sermons I like to listen to when I can't make it to church, and I definitely got a message that I thought I needed to share with you guys. And I know that, and for those of you guys who listen to my podcast, watch my broadcast, I am a God girl, and my faith does absolutely dictate which way I go in my life. It has to dictate my businesses and everything. So I realize wholeheartedly that that can be polarizing for some, but I have to stay true to that for me. And for, I answer to God, not anyone else, and that's pretty much it. So I just had to share with you guys the message that I received today, which was a pretty cool experience. So as I was doing my devotional and just praying, I just kind of kept getting the same feeling, and actually straight up pulled up the message that I ended up listening to. It was actually, the whole thing was about not telling your whole story. So when I prayed about it, I just thought like, okay, God, you're telling me I need to tell my audience, the people I'm trying to work with at Childcare Business Professionals, you want me to tell my whole story. So it's kind of funny. It's been a couple hours since I had that epiphany, and it's just taken me that long to jump on here because I was just like, oh, you want me to tell my whole story? Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys my whole story. I have learned the hard way in life that when God tells me to do something, I need to do it. And I've resisted before, and I don't do that anymore because like I said, I've learned the hard way. And that's a little bit about my story. And I'm going to get to you guys, I promise it will come back around to what does this have to do with early childhood education? What does this have to do with the membership I'm trying to get you guys to join, right? It will circle. You guys will get it by the end. So in 2012, I was diagnosed with a neurological disease. I was actually diagnosed with narcolepsy with cataplexy. I don't talk too much about my diagnosis because there is huge misconceptions on what narcolepsy with cataplexy is. Everybody thinks they know what it is, but nobody really knows what it is. And so I usually tell people I have a neurological disease, but I never tell them what it is because it opens a whole can of worms on me explaining. And Hollywood has formed such an ignorance behind what the disease really is that it's just easier for me not to tell people. So, but, if you've been watching from the beginning, I just felt like God was convicting me. He told me, you're not telling your whole story. You need to go and tell them your story. So that's what I'm doing. And one of the things with narcolepsy, when I first got sick, before they knew what was going on with me, I was literally sleeping 20 hours a day. Literally 20 hours a day. I could not function unless I was sleeping 20 hours a day. And it took a little bit for the doctors to figure out what was going on with me, what was wrong with me. It was hard. I cannot even explain to you. Anybody who has been through a traumatic health experience, just like a life-changing, knows. So not going to get into the backstory of how it was it went from dormancy to basically waking up overnight. Not going to get into that backstory. But one of the things is I have a degree in neuropsychology. So when I first got my diagnosis, I knew exactly what that meant for me. I knew exactly what I was going to be facing. And it was extremely hard for me to accept it. I had to learn how to say goodbye to the person I was before I got sick and embrace this new person that I've become. And that was so hard for me. So hard for me. I can't even, if you've ever gone through something like that, you understand. But I took a long time, you guys, and to the point that I actually at one point even became agoraphobic, where if agoraphobia is when you can't leave your house without having panic attacks. And I mean, I literally I couldn't do anything. So that was in 2012. It took me a long time to get stabilized. In that time, I was still a childcare center owner. I still had my centers. I had 2 at the time that I owned. And my doctor was telling me that I couldn't do it anymore. He was telling me that I needed to sell. There's no way that with my condition, I could be a business owner. I joined support groups. I did all these things, and everybody was telling me, you can't do it. You can't do it with this condition. I mean, other people who had it, the support group people were telling me, you can't do this anymore. So I don't know. I just couldn't accept that. But at the same time, I didn't really know what to do, and my businesses were falling apart. And I mean, it was bad. It was really, really bad. Things weren't getting paid. I mean, you guys, my taxes weren't getting paid a lot. It just got really bad. So as I started to really get better, and as I was the doctors were stabilizing me, and I really just started praying a lot more, relying on God to get me through this time. Things started to change, right? But I'll tell you, when you've got something like this that happens and you get really depressed, or when you going from being really sick to getting better, it was like waking up into a nightmare, right? And it literally was like, when I finally started realizing what was going on and what I was doing, what my lack of action was doing to my business, it was like waking up to an absolute nightmare. And my business was an absolute disaster. And I realized I had to do something to fix it. And I didn't want to lose it. I just thought, I can do this. I can do this. I don't have to lose out on it. I know doctors are telling me I need to quit. I know people in my support group were telling me this can't be done. But God was telling me, no, you need to keep going. And I told you guys a story in one of the sessions about the baby, and that was kind of the same time period. It was all happening at once, where I was trying to get my businesses back together. I was trying to get a handle on my health. And, I've got all these people telling me, you can't do this, you can't do this. And that day I was sitting in my car, and I just prayed, like, God, if you really want me to do this, you've got to show me. I can't do this. And that was all having to do with, is that period of time when I was really going through this health struggle. And I'll tell you guys, one of the things, I fought it for so long. Like, I don't know, I guess I fought, and this is exactly why I'm not fighting what God tells me today, because I fought it for so long that I just tried to do things on my own. And it just was painful. It became painfully obvious to me at one point that I can't do this on my own. And I just needed to let God take over. And that's when he brought my business coach into my life, Christine. That's when he brought her, who guided me into getting my center out of the disaster that it had been in. I can't even tell you the things that happened to me during that period. It's insane. I actually had an accountant at the time that was embezzling. I had no idea, and she wasn't doing a lot of things I thought she was doing. And so when I started realizing what was going on, I thought I had plans in place. I thought I had systems in place that were taking care of the business. And then one day I got a giant bill from the IRS and I realized, oh my gosh, I don't, what is going on here? And I came to find out that the systems I had in place were not working. And I had checked out. I mean, it was nobody's fault but my own, because I had totally checked out as an owner. And I just assumed everybody was doing everything for me. So my new business coach, Christine, one of the things she's taught me as an owner is you cannot rely on nobody to run your business. You have to be involved. You absolutely, positively have to get a handle on it yourself. You cannot rely on your accountant. You cannot rely on a director. You have to be the one to do it. Like, at least oversee it. Doesn't mean that you have to do your own QuickBooks, but you have to be overseeing and making sure. Because you guys, with my condition at the time, there were actually times, there's something that's called narcoleptic comas. I was going in and out of what are called narcoleptic comas. Organizations like the IRS, they don't care if you're in a coma. They don't care. You still get their penalties. And their penalties, when you owe them money, are like double what you actually owe them. And it's the same way for anything, right? Like, you got penalties, and even if it's a credit card or whatever it is, when it comes to your payroll, your employees need to be paid. It's got to happen. During that period of time when everything was just so out of control and chaotic, just to tell you like how crazy our lives were at my center, I actually had an employee that was actually murdered at the same time. Like, all this is happening at once. And it was just the craziest thing. And then I had some glitch happened at the bank. And the bank returned over 30 of my checks while I was on vacation. And it was a fluke glitch. The craziest thing that there was this brand new system that they had just put into place at the bank, where it was some kind of fraud protection thing that they were trying to do, where owners were supposed to go in and approve every single check as it was going through. Well, I had gone to the bank and told them, I'm leaving town. We need to pause this somehow. I'm going to be in an area. We were going camping, so I had no way of logging on to approve this stuff. And they assured me, don't worry, everything will be fine. Don't even worry about it. So apparently it wasn't fine and it didn't get taken care of. But what ended up happening at that time is all over my city, like, there was different local things that were bouncing, and all over my city people started talking about it and saying that I was going out of business. It just spiraled so out of control. So all of this is happening at once. While I'm dealing with all this, I'm dealing with this new diagnosis. I'm dealing with learning how to live as, with this new condition that I knew I was going to have for the rest of my life. So that was just, one of just the hurdles. I mean, many hurdles that I've been through. I've been through so many hurdles like that, you guys. It's just crazy to think of the things I've been through. And that's where it was actually about 2 years ago, I knew God was telling me I needed to go and help other owners like me. I know I'm not alone. Life happens to all of us. And in retrospect, I realize, and I'm grateful for what I've been through. And because it has just taught me how to be a good owner. And it's something I cannot take credit for myself. God absolutely led me to this place I'm at today. He gave me the knowledge and the tools I have to share with you. It's really so I cannot take credit for it. And I just realized it's been about 2 years now that this was something I was led to do, is to give back, right, to those of you out there. So the whole structure is something I've been toying with now for 2 years. And the reason I finally decided to launch this now is because my husband was diagnosed last year with end-stage kidney disease. And he is on dialysis. And so there was a big part of me that knew, like, oh, here we go again. Now it's his turn, and he's going to go through a huge major life change and diagnosis. And, here we are again. And I, prayed a lot about it and thought, like, okay, what do I need to do to prepare my family. And I think God was really laying it on my heart to start this new business, which is Childcare Business Professionals, which is my membership, which is what I'm doing here. He was really just like, this is what you need to do. This is your next step, the evolution of what's going on. Between December and January, my husband had several strokes, and it really was pretty scary. He had a few strokes that he landed in the hospital for a couple weeks, and amazing story. And another, just God is amazing to my family. He's doing wonderful. The doctors can't believe how great he's doing, considering what he's been through. And so I just realized in January, I started the podcast back in November because I knew I needed to do this. And I knew, first of all, I need to figure out a way to replace this income. And secondly, I just knew that this is what I was being called to do now. And in January, it just became painfully obvious that I really need to get this launched and making sure that my family will be taken care of. So that is my story. That's where I just feel like I was being called today to share it with you guys. It's not something I was planning on sharing all of this, but I just, like I said this morning, ironically, I didn't make it to church, and God just was speaking to me by not making it to church. Just kept getting this message. You're not telling them your story. You're not telling them your story. You need to tell them your story. And I'll tell you, like I said, it's been a couple hours. I struggled with going live with this because I'm like, I know I'm just going to alienate so many people. I'm going to, there's just a lot of people who aren't going to like this message. They're just going to automatically be like, oh, she's one of those people who are preachy. But I kind of realized, you know what? That's fine. God's going to bring me the people I need to work with. And the ones that I don't, it's okay. I don't care. I know that I will lose, different followers because of how I feel about it. But that's okay. I don't answer to other people. All I really care about at the end of the day is that I've got to answer to God and what He's telling me to do. So thank you. Let's see. Suze, I'm grateful I met you. Oh, I'm so glad, Sue. I really hope I can help you through something. I know, that's kind of what I figured this morning, is that God is going to send the people that I need. It's just going to be Him. So I'm kind of giving up that whole fight on trying to bring people in, and so it will just happen in June. Yes, God is good. Yes, June, God is amazing. I mean, it's amazing. I'll tell you, it's been 8 years since my diagnosis, and in retrospect, just thinking of what I thought my life would be, it's so different. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I've learned how to live with it. I do have to do things to take care of myself because I will always, it's a neurological disease I'll live with for the rest of my life, but it's not that bad. I mean, I made it so much worse than it had to be. And now I'm, with my husband, all this is very new for us, just living with kidney disease. He's only been on dialysis since November. And then, going from starting dialysis straight into having a couple strokes was really tough. But again, I just kind of remind myself in retrospect, what we've been through, it all turned out to be good in the end. So let's see, June, I've shared with you my husband. Yes. Failure was on dialysis. Yes. Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. Yes, God's got a plan for us. And I know, I've been through so much in my life that I know that I truly believe that God really does use all things for good. It really, really does. I mean, it's amazing where I once upon a time thought that my diagnosis was the end of the world for me. I really thought I was just never going to be able to work again, that I was going to have to go on disability. And that's what I was being told by a lot of people who have the disease I have, and also my doctors. And, it just, once I really trusted and let it go, it really just, it wasn't nothing like I expected it to be. Yes, I do have to really monitor myself, and there's certain lifestyle changes that I've had to make, but I really think I am better for it now. I've grown so much, and I've learned so much, and I know that it's a gift I was given that I can share. So that's my message for today. And, I am still going forward with my same plan. My cart is closing tonight. at the $99 for the membership. I do still have one more coaching spot left, so if anybody wants to talk to me about that, my coaching prices are not changing. The only thing that will be is that $99 membership price. That is the only thing that I'm changing as of tomorrow, and that's only because I'm starting as a the membership I'm doing is a beta, since it's brand new and I don't have any of the stuff. As we go, I'm going to be recording and putting them up as lessons, and I'm also going to be adding a lot of the stuff that I've created with instructions on how to use it. So that's why I'm starting it at $99 a month, because I really feel like it's not quite there yet. And then, but the reason I'm going to be raising it for my next time that I open up the membership is because there's going to be so much more value in there when I open it up the next time. So there's going to just be so many more units to do, things I can give out to everybody. So that's why I'm closing it out tonight. I just want to work with a small group as my beta group, and then as it gets more refined and I have more to offer, and I actually have less, just things in there, then it's going to be going up, because the value will be going up. So if you guys have any questions, if anyone wants to message me, or if you're still on the fence and you want to schedule a conversation with me, I pretty much had to cancel all my plans for today since my baby, my giant 16-year-old, he's 6'1", 230 pounds, but he's still my baby. He's not doing well right now, so we're just home. So let me know, and let's see, Sue, I'm going to borrow my wall. Thank you, Sue, that's awesome. I hope I can help. I mean, I just kind of had that realization this morning that I don't need to worry about bringing people in. God's going to bring them to me. So when I was kind of struggling and going through that whole thing with God, I'm like, really, God, you really want me to do this? Because that means I'm probably going to put a lot of people off. Just like, okay, I fought your will before, I'm not doing it again. So, Heather, is there a replay for the Zoom? The Zoom turned out not so great. Somebody wasn't on mute on the Zoom, so it was like, it's kind of, I don't know, it's I will post it, but just a warning on the Zoom is it's really, the conversation goes in and out. So what I've been working on doing is just typing out my answers, like the question and answers instead, and posting it that way. I will post it for you guys, but after watching it, it is hard to follow. Just a warning. So I will just post a summary also. So if you guys, the first few minutes are okay. Like I'd say the first 10 to 15 minutes are fine, but then it just kind of, I didn't realize I should have had the girls that jumped on mute their side, because it really did make it choppy. So I will post that though, and then along with the questions and answers. So that's why I haven't posted it yet, because it is kind of choppy. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day, and just let me know if you guys have any questions about the membership. Let's see. Oh yes, that's a great idea, Sue. Remember them to turn off video. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, it's a shame, because it was a pretty good session, but it just got choppy. So I will talk. So my next time I'm going live will be next Friday. I'm going to go back to my normal schedule of every Friday at 4 p.m. And then if you are signed up for the membership, we will be doing our first session on Thursday at 5 p.m. and I will be playing that back. I have talked to my staff too at Zooming Around, and they're going to be helping them and helping me every now and then too, so we can offer more than just that Thursday time. So I am going to vary it a little bit to make sure everybody has an opportunity to jump on the live Zoom membership conversations with us. So have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.